Going All In, Get the Edge You Need to Succeed. I am Dr. Erin McKinley, and today we have another awesome spotlight session with Kaal from Samford University Dietetic Internship based in Birmingham, Alabama. Welcome, Megan.
Hi, Erin. It's great to be with you guys today.
Awesome. Well, tell us all about you and all about Samford's program.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I just wanted to start off with you guys telling you a little bit about myself. So my name is Kaal, and here you'll see me with my family. My husband, JP, I have a daughter who's 3.5, and then a little boy, Cameron, who was born in April, so right in the middle of the pandemic. But I have been at Samford as the Dietetic Internship Clinical Coordinator now for 2 years. Prior to that, I worked at University of Alabama, Birmingham. It's the big university hospital in Birmingham. So all kinds of different patients there. I was there for 10 years. And while I was there, I did a lot with older adults and a lot with cardiac rehab and also cancer patients. While I was there, I was able to get my Master's of Science in Nutrition there at UAB. And I also got my MBA while I was at UAB. So that's where I am professionally. But what I want to talk to you guys about was how I got there, because I know you guys kind of are in that process now of getting to the registered dietitian nutritionist goal. So I always had an interest in nutrition. So I always laugh at this picture. This was for like a second grade project. And I had all my fruits and my milk, and I was reading a little book about physical activity. So that's always fun to look back on, but I always have had an interest in nutrition. So I actually did my undergraduate work at Samford. And so here I am as a Samford nutrition major. If you ever come on Samford's campus, this statue is one that's right there in the middle of campus that everyone takes a picture with. And so as a nutrition major, I, of course, was figuring out what I wanted to do after I graduated. And so I decided to pursue the dietetic internship. And I ended up doing my dietetic internship in Dallas at the Baylor Medical Center. And so here you'll see me there in Dallas at the Texas State Fair, where we got to go and eat all the good, yummy fried foods. So that's my journey. And what I want to walk you through are the questions that I asked myself when I was in your shoes. And I would encourage you to ask yourself these questions. And so as I'm reading them, kind of think of how you would fill that out. So I asked myself, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? What do you want to be doing? And what else is important to you? And when we all complete these questions, we're all going to get different answers. When I was in your shoes and I answered these questions, I answered them in this manner. I cannot tell you why, but I just had a very strong passion to go to Dallas. So that was where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be with an internship class that I could really get to know well. And so it was a smaller class that I was looking for. I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I honestly was terrified of the hospital, and I ended up, liking it and working there for 10 years. So that would be something to encourage you to never close any doors, because you never know how you're going to like something. But I wanted an experience that would give me a wide variety of experiences, since I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And it was also important to me that I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. I'd always lived in Alabama, and so I wanted to go somewhere new and different where I didn't know many people, to push myself outside of my comfort zone. So that's what was important to me. So I'm going to walk through these questions and show you what Samford has to offer you in each one of these areas. So the first, you might be asking yourself, where do you want to be? So Samford is located in Birmingham, Alabama. And to tell you a little bit about Birmingham, we are a big enough city that we have a Trader Joe's, but we are a small enough city that we're not going to have the traffic that you're going to find in Atlanta or Nashville. Usually you can get anywhere in 15, maybe 20 minutes. And so it's a good size city. We're about 4 hours from the beach. You can get to Nashville and Atlanta in 2 to 3 hours, so it's centrally located. So if you are looking to move to a city, we are in Birmingham, but we also offer a distance internship. And so with that, you could live anywhere in the U.S. So if you wanted to stay in Louisiana, or if you're, say, from Texas or California or New York, wherever you want to live, you could live, and we work with you to do our distance program. With our rotations, we would help you find rotations in the city that you're living in. And then all of our master's coursework is online. So that, of course, doesn't matter where you live. So we do both the local and the distance. We do not have a specific cap on the number of distance or the number of local. So whether you want to do distance or local does not impact your ability to get into the program. Just some highlights about Samford. So where you would be. Samford does have a Christian mission. Samford is a Christian university. So you will find that is incorporated into our program. We have a deep care for our students. We want to care for our students not just on the education level, but as a student, a person themselves. We don't see you just as a student, but as a person, and we want to help you in all areas of your life. We are housed in the School of Public Health, so you will get a unique opportunity to see more of the public health side of nutrition. We are in that School of Public Health, which is housed in the College of Health Sciences. What that means is we are in the same college as the speech therapy students, the physical therapy students, the PA school. So we have a lot of opportunities for interprofessional collaboration right there on campus. And so we like to take advantage of that. We also have a lot of flexibility with rotations. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. But I do want to highlight that we really value our interns and their interests and want to get them into rotations that they have interest in. So you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be, in Birmingham or doing the distance program. How long am I going to be there? So the way that our program is set up is you will be there for enroll for 4 semesters. So you will start in the fall. So you will start that fall semester in August, as you'll see on this chart. And you will just be taking classes, master's level classes, that first fall semester. So with that, you actually don't have to live in Birmingham because all the classes are online. So that first semester, all online, live wherever you want to do, even if you're doing the local internship. Then in the spring semester, you will start doing your master's classes and your rotations at the same time. And so for the full year, January to December, that's when you're going to be doing your rotations. And if you're doing the local internship, then you would then be required to live in Birmingham. And of course, the distance, you could be wherever you wanted to be. But just important to note that you would then be doing your master's classes and your rotations during that full year. So a total of 4 semesters. With our rotations, they are 4 days a week or 32 hours a week. And the reason we do that is because you will be taking the master's courses. And so we like for you to be able to have Mondays off so you can work on your coursework. We also have internship seminars, which I'll mention later, that you will do on some Mondays as well. We do give our interns 2 weeks off during the year. There are some natural breaks due to time between semesters. In addition to those natural breaks, you would get 2 weeks off. All right, so the next question is, who do you want to be with? So our program consists of 20 interns, both local and distance. And like I said earlier, we don't necessarily have a specific number of local or specific number of distance. I will say that in the past, we've had, more local than distance. Usually about 15 local or to 5 distance, give or take a few on each. Now, we see our interns from really all walks of life. We have interns who come right out of undergrad. We have interns who've taken a break. We have interns who are coming back for a second career. We have interns who are, 23. We have interns who are 50. So we really, have a wide variety of interns. But one thing that we find is that our interns really get a chance to know each other and really bond over their 4 semesters. One thing that you'll find at Samford is a really strong support team. I'm not going to go through who all these people are, but I do want to highlight the first picture you see on the top left is Amy Cameron, and she is our director of the program. So she and I work very closely together with all of our interns to make sure that everything is going smoothly and that everyone is learning. I also wanted to highlight Dr. Keith Pearson, who's the third on the top. He is one of our professors who teaches our interns. And Morgan and I, before you guys joined in, were just talking about him. Morgan's taking one of his classes this semester, and she just was talking about how he makes everything with MNT just very practical and very easy to understand and very useful. And everyone loves Dr. Pearson. He's an awesome professor. But the main thing I want you to know is that Samford faculty is here for our students. We have helped our students not just as far as rotations and school goes, but we've had students who have had unexpected life circumstances come their way, and we'll help them as best we can to deal with those. We want our interns to stay connected. We know that there's value in you having a good relationship with your fellow interns. And so even though you guys will be online classes, but also scattered throughout all the different rotations, we do find times throughout the year for you to come together. Now, that has looked a little different with COVID, but we still have had times for our interns to get together. So you will have an orientation that first fall semester where your class will get together and meet each other. And then you will have another on-campus time at the beginning of your rotations. And that's when you'll have the white coat ceremony, symbolizing the beginning of you going out into the field. You'll have another time to get together in your second fall semester. And that's when we have lecture series for you to get to learn about different topics that you may not hear and experience in your rotations. And then finally, what our 2020 class is about to experience is this very last time to get together when we celebrate you finishing the program. But we also have you do an RD exam review course as well. So again, encouraging our interns to stay connected. I did want to mention these Monday seminars. We do those throughout the internship. And that's when we take topics that we think that Ms. Cameron and I have good background in, and we'll share our experiences. We also invite other professionals to come and share their experiences too. And we also work through case studies with you guys during those Monday seminars. So the next question to ask yourself is, what do you want to be doing? So you may know exactly what you want to do, or you may be like me and have absolutely no idea. You may think you know exactly what you want to do, but once you get into a rotation, you may find, you know what, I had never heard of this before, and I actually love it. So I do encourage you to always have an open mind as you're walking into whatever internship that you choose to do. So with our program, we have the Dietetic Internship component. And so with that, you will be taking 4 didactic courses. And so you'll see those on this schedule. You'll see, you'll take one in leadership, one in counseling, one in research methods, and then it's called Cultivating Nutrition. It's a public health nutrition course. So all of our students will take those 4 courses. You will then have 6 supervised practice courses. And so basically that's what you're going to think of as rotations. So your rotations are courses. And so of course your learning will be done in the field. But those will be your 10 total courses for the dietetic internship, the 4 didactic courses, and then the 6 supervised practice courses. So that's the dietetic internship component. And those courses count towards whichever master's you choose to pursue. We do have options. So you can pursue the Master's of Science in Nutrition, the Master of Public Health, or the Master of Healthcare Administration. If you're interested in more information on those programs, I have provided the email addresses for the chairs of those master's courses or programs. Now, you might be thinking, do I have to get a master's? We do, if you do not have a master's already, we do ask that you do the DI and the master's. If you already have a master's, you do not have to get another master's. You can do the DI only. And if you were to do that, then you would just do this plan of study right here. If you go to our website, you can find the plan of studies for each one of these programs. Now, the Master of Nutrition and the of Public Health, they are on the same time schedule as the internship program. So you will start and finish the internship and the Nutrition and Public Health Masters at the same time. If you're interested in the Healthcare Administration Master's program, that will take an additional time frame. So you would finish the internship and then still have some of your master's coursework to do. So let's talk about the supervised practice courses, or like most of you might refer to them as rotations. So what you'll see here is we have 6 different courses: child nutrition, community and public health, food service management, lifestyle, medical nutrition therapy, and then your practicum. And so I'm going to take some time to talk about each one of those. Child nutrition, you will be going to a school, and while you're at that school, you're really going to get exposed to all of the federal and state regulations required for child nutrition programs. So you'll be working directly with the child nutrition manager at the school that you're at. And so with that, you're really working with them to manage the program. Community and public health is going to be one of our longer rotations. So it's 7 weeks, and we usually split that between 2 different locations so you can see a diverse, get a diverse experience in public health. So usually 4 weeks at one site and 3 weeks at another site. So with that, you will be working with various different programs to do different education programs that they have. So for example, you'll see Christian Service Mission here. They do a culinary wellness program to teach people in the community how to cook. East Lake Market, you'll be working with them to develop meals for food insecure communities. But we also have opportunities to do research and also some education as well. So when you're looking at this long list, you might think, man, like there's a lot of different places that they send students. So how do I know where I might go? This is when I want to take a chance to tell you that we really value your interest. And so at the beginning of every class, so Morgan has her class has just completed this survey where you tell me what you're interested in. And so when I'm making the schedule, I might see, oh, this person is really interested in food insecurity. So I'm going to make sure I put them in a public health or community rotation that focuses on food insecurity. Or this person is really interested in research. So let's see if they can maybe do some public health research. So again, we really want to know what you're interested in so we can put you in rotations that you hopefully will find value in. Next is our food service management. So we try to give you a diverse experience there as well. So you can see that We have you not only at hospitals, but we also have some other locations, some different food service facilities, including our cafeteria on campus. But with this rotation, you're going to get a chance to really apply some management skills. So it's not just food service, it's management as well. You get to do marketing, you get to create different menus, you get to determine what your customers or your patients want. Patient satisfaction is a big thing that you'll learn about in food service management, as well as production skills, safety regulations, and things that go along with food service. One supervised practice course that we have that is somewhat unique to Samford is something we call lifestyle. And that is when you take the M&T that you've learned and apply it to community-based settings. So that's going to look like eating disorder clinics, corporate wellness, sports nutrition, telehealth, working with the media. And so again, this is when I take that survey and find out what you're interested in and try to put you into a rotation that meets those interests. And we usually get a lot of our interns really like this lifestyle rotation because it is more unique and has diverse options. With this, you do a lot of education, talking with different walks of life. So very diverse rotation. Next, we have medical nutrition therapy. And so I love getting to see students experience this supervised practice because you are taking what you have learned in your classes and applying it into the real world. So you can study all about M&T, but now you're going to actually put it into action. And I think that's something that our interns who take our M&T course in the fall with Dr. Pearson that I was talking about, they really love getting to take the information that he's taught them and apply it into the real world. So our M&T is divided into 3 different facilities. So you'll spend 7 weeks in a hospital, so in inpatient, but you'll also get to do outpatient, 4 weeks in outpatient. And that, of course, can vary. We have relationships with dialysis clinics, bariatric surgery. We actually have a new relationship with an OBGYN who does a lot of gestational diabetes educations. So we have a diverse opportunity when it comes to outpatient. And then, of course, we have long-term care rotation as well. So either a nursing home or an LTAC. With our M&T, you will actually get to do some case studies or present some of your patients that you've seen, present those as case studies to your professors, but also your fellow interns. And so you get to learn from each other. And then finally, we have practicum. And so that's what our interns that are about to graduate, that's what they're in right now, finishing up their last week. And this is at the end of the internship when you are going to get to select an area that you're very interested in, and you will get to work with that dietitian on more of a entry-level base. So a lot more independence, and it's really to help prepare you for the workforce. So in this case, if you're someone who loves community, you might go back to your community rotation. Or maybe you really wish you had gotten some experience in eating disorders, but the schedule maybe didn't work out right. You can maybe go and do your practicum in eating disorders. So there's a lot of different ways this could work. We also have even had students do their practicum in other cities. So maybe you are Birmingham based, but you want to go back home for your practicum, or you have an opportunity. Maybe you love sports nutrition and you made a connection with a sports dietitian in another state. You could do your practicum there as well. I do want to note though that if you did that, like Samford doesn't pay for your your housing or anything like that if you're doing a situation like that. Just to note some things beyond our rotations, we have a lot of camps our students are involved in. Diabetes camp, we had an excellent opportunity for a traumatic brain injury camp that involved the other students in the College of Health Sciences. So we were working in an interprofessional capacity. We did cooking camps. We have prepared the meals for vacation Bible schools. We've even done a lot of these things virtually. So we had a virtual asthma camp this year that we did with COVID. So that was really cool. I've mentioned the interprofessional education several times, but just want to tell you that we really value getting outside of that dietitian silo and seeing how we work with other professions. Because I think that if you can experience that as an intern, you're going to quickly, as a professional, hop right into that world and be able to work with all disciplines. That Monday seminar series I mentioned, this is an opportunity for us to share things that you might not be learning in your rotations. We give our interns opportunities to speak within the community. So we always are having people come and ask us for interns to speak to their different groups. And we do require interns to do volunteer activities. So 2 activities during the year. It can be really any activity that's related to nutrition that you have an interest in. So it could be volunteering at the food bank, or it could be doing a lecture to a professional group that wanted to hear a nutrition topic. But that would be something not to be concerned about. Our interns don't really have any issues getting these volunteer activities. So the final question to ask is, what else is important to you? So just kind of wanted to talk about other things that you might think are important. I think probably everyone, your goal is to do the internship so you can get a job. And so just kind of wanted to share with you that we have our students getting jobs just throughout the profession. We have a lot of our interns go and work at hospitals, but we have an intern who's the dietitian for the Dallas Cowboys. We have working in school food service, eating disorders, weight loss clinics, meal planning services. We have some that have done PhD programs. So really, the sky's the limit with what you want to do. We are always getting people looking for, when people have job openings, they always let us know what they are, because people really respect our interns and know that Samford produces good quality dietitians. Our pass rate, you can see the 3-year average, 92% with the RD exam. And again, we do a RD prep at the end of our internship program. Just some things that make Samford distinctive. Some of these I've already mentioned. The Christian mission, that we're in the School of Public Health. We really value the relationships that we have with our students. We have a not tiny, but a smaller class of 20 interns. So we are able to give, specific care to each intern. You do get that day off during the week to work on your courses. The volunteer activities that we have our students do. And then I did want to mention, because we are a private university, there's no out-of-state tuition. So we're the same cost, whatever state you live in. Now, I did want to kind of go over some of the requirements. Of course, having your verification statement, as long as you have that by the start date, so you're good. So if you if you graduate in the summer, then you would still apply, could still apply in the spring match. Our program would start in August, as long as you have that verification statement before our start date. A minimum GPA of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale, and your nutrition courses having a 3.2 GPA. And then your science courses having a minimum of a 2.75 GPA. We do require the GRE, so you'll see the scores there. And we also like to see 150 hours or more of dietetic related or food service related experience, whether volunteer or paid. I do want to note, like when you're looking at these requirements, like I don't want you to look at these and think, well, I don't meet that requirement, so I can't apply. We look at our applicants as a whole. And so please, if say your GPA is slightly lower in one of those categories, go ahead and apply, because like I said, we do look at our interns as a whole. And if you do have a weakness, address that in your personal statement. So again, if we have accepted interns that maybe don't fall right on these requirements, and especially if they have addressed that in their personal statement and there's a good reason. So yes, so we do have open houses. We have one later this week that you could attend. Of course, it's a virtual open house, here in the days of COVID. But I have my email address here, Hodges, and then our director Amy. You'll see hers, A Camara 1. And so feel free to reach out to us. We have 2 interns that are finishing the program in just the next week. And they have given us their contact information if you would like to hear from them. We have Morgan, who is actually one of our interns who has just finished her first semester. So that semester when you're doing master's coursework without the rotations. So she just finished that. And she will start her rotations in January. She will actually be spending some time at UAB in a community rotation, doing some community research, and then also doing some community experience with a program that teaches cooking well classes for the community. So that will be her first set of rotations. So Morgan, if you can maybe talk to us a little bit about your experience during that first semester taking the classes. And did I unshare my screen, or do I need to unshare my screen? I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know. Okay. But
yeah, so I have been here in Birmingham for just a month, but I have been doing the coursework since August. I am in the home stretch. My finals are due next week, so it's really feeling real now, knowing that I'm going to be in person doing rotation soon. I have been doing courses for the Master's in Nutritional Sciences program. So the classes have been very interesting to me. It's very practical, like we had discussed earlier. I want to say that, for example, my medical nutrition therapy class, I think 80% of it is probably case study situations. So it's not just learning information, memorizing things, here it is. It's really practical, getting hands-on, and it has allowed me to feel way more prepared for my rotations coming soon than I did in August. I was nervous. I was like, there's so much information I need to know, all of this, I'm not prepared. And now I am honestly just excited for rotations and not really so stressed out as I was before.
Could you tell us a little bit about what helped you choose Samford as the internship?
Yes. So actually my story of trying to figure out which internship I wanted to apply to was very uncertain kind of through the whole process. I originally looked at the University of Texas and their dietetic internship that is in Houston. Great program. I read up all about it, thought I loved it. I loved the city of Houston to begin with. I thought this is where I'm going to be. And then I took the open house there, and nothing was negative about the program. It was just my personal fit. It just didn't feel like a right fit for me. And I learned there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going to a program and feeling like this just isn't it. And so I had already been accepted into the UT graduate program because you had to be accepted into there before you applied to the internship. So then I thought, well, what am I doing now? I'm already accepted. Do I just not apply? What do I do? And then Professor Matthews actually came into my LSU class, my senior year undergrad, right before the last spring semester of everyone panicking about internships and DICUS and everything. And he just started talking about Samford, and I never looked into Samford. I had no idea about the dietetic internship. And I honestly just fell in love with everything he was saying. I really wanted a Christian environment. I had went to a Christian university my first 2 years of college and then transferred to LSU. And so I really knew I wanted to revisit an environment like that, and it has just been the best year so far. But so I decided on Samford, and a big thing about my decision making was I am really into sports nutrition, and it's a very specific career choice and not a common one that's usually focused on in rotations, and it's usually public health concentrations and everything. So knowing that Samford had that personal aspect for me and having the practicum at the end where I can utilize that and really explore what I really want to do with my career, and having the checklist that we had filled out about what I'm interested in, ranking everything. It's a very detailed list. I appreciate you, Ms. Kaal. You do the best. It's very detailed. We tell 1 through 5, I'm very interested, barely interested, not interested. And it really, I just feel like everyone at Samford cares about me as a person, me as an intern. All of my professors want to see me succeed. I can reach out to them anytime I need to. They give great feedback. They just really care. And that's what has really made Birmingham feel like a home to me. And I've only been here for a month. So I am a big fan of the program so far. Ask me in January when I start rotations. I'll be a little stressed out. But as far as the online classes, it's very doable. I was a little nervous about the online portion, and then COVID happened for me to experience that a little earlier than I intended to. But it's very doable. Like I said, the professors want you to succeed. They're there to help you with anything. I have emailed my professors a number of times already asking, hey, what is this in the lecture? I'm not sure I'm understanding, or in this assignment, I'm not sure of what this question is asking. And I get feedback that same day, and everything has gone smoothly so far, and it's very doable. The one thing I do want to say is that I recommend doing something every day, whether you're watching a 30-minute lecture or typing a whole paper that day. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of information, but just having something done each and every day has really helped me learn how to time manage and get through it. And it has been a lot less stressful than I anticipated by doing that.
Yeah. And Morgan, I think you make a great point. One of I think the strong points of our program is that you do start your master's coursework without rotations. So it kind of helps you ease into it instead of just starting all at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the 5 questions that I ask every program that comes on the podcast. And these questions were put together with the help of my students. I asked them what they really wanted to know from directors and coordinators of different programs. So the first question is there a particular thing that you love to see when you read a personal statement?
Yeah, great question. So I think the first thing we like to see that is well put together. So we want to see that you have put time into it and that there's no grammatical errors, no punctuation errors. That's something that when I see that, it usually makes me, have second thoughts about the application. So just the presentation in general. And then another thing that we like to see is that you express your interest in Samford. So not that you just had this general letter that you wrote and sent out to everyone, but why are you interested in Samford specifically? So covering that, I think is important, and something that looks good to us. And then also, I kind of mentioned this in my presentation, but don't hesitate to address any weakness that you might have in your resume or application. We love hearing you explain how you think you can improve, or maybe if you had maybe your freshman year was a tough year, but you overcame some poor grades. We like to see you explain that. Because we do, again, look at the applicant as a whole and not just at grades or GPA.
All right, perfect. So my second question is a true or false question. And true or false, an applicant's resume should be 1 page and 1 page only. Either way, why?
I would say that false. It doesn't have to just be 1 page. I would say that one of the most important things, again, is like, how is it structured? How is it put together? So you could have a one-page resume that has, very poor structure, doesn't present things well. Or you could, maybe have a two-page resume that's put together really well. And of course, the two-page would be favored. I wouldn't say like have a lengthy, like 3, 4, 5-page resume. I think at this point in your life and your career, you might be just putting a lot of filler in there if it got to be that long. But I would say like a solid, like 1 page, like front and back, I think would be what I would, what I would look at as a good, strong, solid resume. But again, like length is not what matters. It's what is the content of it. What do you have to sell yourself? And I would encourage you have other people look at your resume as well as your personal statement. So not just people in the nutrition world, but if your school has a career center or something like that, definitely have someone who has a lot of experience in resumes review and look at it. Because again, that is one of the biggest things that you're using to sell yourself.
All right. So what is one thing that an applicant may do either in their application itself or maybe in some sort of interaction that you've had with them that would kind of set off some red flags to where you would think maybe this person isn't the best fit for the program?
So I think one thing I mentioned earlier is just like poor grammar, poor sentence structure. That's always a red flag to me, because if you can't, present yourself in a personal statement with good grammar and structure, how are you going to write graduate level papers and case studies and such? So that's always not a deal breaker, but something that makes me think, oh, I'm not sure about that. And also, like when you're writing your personal statement, I get that you probably use a lot of content to send from the letters to send to different programs, but make sure you're not sending a personal statement that says to Samford that says another program's name in it. So we have gotten those before. Again, not a deal breaker, but definitely one that makes you kind of think, are they going to be detailed oriented? I'm not sure. So I would definitely double check things like that.
Good advice. All right. So my fourth question is, what is one area of the program that you're working on making even better for the interns?
Yeah. I feel like we're always working to make our program better. What we do at the end of each year is have our interns fill out a survey asking them, what is something that you wish we had done that we didn't, or how can we improve? And we actually take that to heart, and we really do work on improving things. So one thing that have seen a recurring theme the past year is our interns wanting more experience with eating disorders. Unfortunately, we cannot get all of our interns into an eating disorder rotation. We'd love to, but just the supply and demand, we have more interns interested than we do preceptors. So we are going to incorporate next year a seminar, one of those Monday seminars that has to do with eating disorders. And we actually have a former intern who is working in eating disorders. And so we're going to actually have her lead one of the seminars. We love to keep our relationships with our interns, even once they graduate. So we do often invite our interns back to share with us. Another thing, so Miss Cameron, the director, she has a strong background in pediatrics, and I have a strong background in older adult nutrition. And so we are looking to improve our program by using the knowledge we have from our experiences in working in the hospitals in those areas and working some of those seminars in with those topics. So again, we're always looking to improve our program, and a lot of that comes from the feedback from our interns.
All right. So my last question is a two-part question. The first part, what are 3 adjectives, descriptors, or phrases that you feel best describes the Samford program?
I think flexibility. So I think that we work with our interns to get them into areas that they're interested in, but also work with them. We've had interns, just life happens. So maybe they need to have a rotation in a different city and we can make that work for them. Or they have something comes up and need to rotate some off weeks around or something like that. So we do work with our interns. So I would say flexibility. I would say caring. I think that we, again, see our interns and look at interns as individuals, not just as another name, and truly, value them. And then also I would say the diverse rotations. The fact that we are in the School of Public Health, I think, is somewhat unique. So you do get that public health aspect. Even if you're doing the Master of Nutrition, you're still going to get, I would think, more exposure to public health than in other programs.
All right. So the second half is very similar. It would be 3 adjectives, descriptors, or phrases to describe your ideal applicant.
Willing to learn. So we want interns who are coming in and want to learn. They're excited about nutrition, excited about the program, excited about the field, and just open to learning, anything that we have to share with them. I think also ability, well, I guess that's not just one adjective, confidence. And so with that, we know that you're coming in and you might be, nervous about starting such a big program, but just confident in your ability to complete the program, confident in your ability to do rotations, but knowing that we're there for you in those moments when you may feel a little nervous. And then communication, I think that's huge. Being a good communicator can help you get through your internship. Like we said, we value flexibility, we value caring for our interns, but if you don't communicate with us, we cannot do those things. If you have a big life issue come up, if you have a little life issue come up, if you don't communicate with us, then we can't work with you. So communication is a very important thing. And we want to have relationships with our interns, and we can't do that if you don't communicate with us. So I think those would be my adjectives.
All right. So you had mentioned with the aspect of Samford being private that there is no out-of-state tuition. So what is about the roundabout of the tuition of the program?
That's a great question that I don't have the number off the top of my head. But I will tell you, on our website, if you do go to our website, all of that financial information is there. And if you, for some reason, can't find it, feel free to shoot me an email and I can have that. Sorry, I should have had that number off the top of my head, but I did not.
That's perfectly fine. We'll definitely provide the link to the program with this video for the viewers. So despite COVID and all of the issues that's come with it, there are no plans to waive the GRE this year because of that?
No, we don't. We do not have plans to waive the GRE.
And then with COVID, what are some of the things that you're trying to do to make sure that the interns have as normal of an internship experience as they can, despite having to do some adjustments or changes to the positions?
Yes, that's a great question. So we have been able to provide our interns with all the hours that they need. At the beginning of COVID, when no one really knew what was going on, we did a lot of alternative experiences, and so Ms. Cameron and myself were able to pull a lot from our hospital experiences to do alternative MNT for our interns that were in their hospital rotations. We also worked with the preceptors to help provide us things remotely, really across all areas, all rotations. now that we've kind of figured things out, not just us, but just the world, how to function this new normal. I was very surprised. I was just telling this to Morgan before this started, that our rotation schedule for the spring is looking really great. Like we really, the only areas that we're having difficulty with is long-term care, which makes a lot of sense. And so what we're doing is we're going to be having like interviews with our different long-term care preceptors. So they can still share with our interns. And we'll be doing some remote experiences for different case studies and learning. But our interns have been working with preceptors pretty much. Like there was a little bit of time, like maybe in like April, May, but from the summer on, our interns have been working with preceptors. So I will say that our preceptors in Birmingham have really been strong and come through and really support and care for our program and our students.
Oh, we have one from Alexis. Is there any specific time where interns are able to work with those with type 1 diabetes?
Yes. So all of our interns that are based in Alabama, so either Birmingham local or a distance program that is in another Alabama city, will do Camp Still Harris, which is a summer program for type 1 or children with type 1 diabetes. And so that is one thing that all of our interns will get to do. And even this year with COVID, they still did a virtual camp, and our interns were able to help with that. So that's one that you definitely will get to do. We have several different outpatient rotations that are diabetes based. And so again, that would be just you expressing your interest in that. And that would help me place you in that rotation for outpatient.
All right. To close us out, Megan, give us one last take-home message for potential applicants.
Oh, yeah. So if you are interested in our program, we would love to hear from you when we do get applications and, we're reading through them and we recognize the name because you've reached out to us. We always love that. And I just encourage you to, take your time during this process. I remember when I was in your shoes, and it's a lot. Like you're finishing up, your undergrad, you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. And I encourage you not to get overwhelmed. And just know that, at Samford, we are there for you, and we just encourage you to take your time and think through this process, and we'd love to help you guide you through this. And if you have any questions or anything else that comes up about our program, please feel free to reach out.
All right, perfect. And Morgan, give us one last words of wisdom as a former DPD student on applying to Samford.
I would say the best advice is to just explore all of your options, have an open mind, because I thought I had my decision locked down and everything was set in. And then if I would have been closed-minded to that, then I might have not found Samford and had the awesome experience I've had here so far.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, Megan. Thank you, Morgan. And for those at home who may be interested in the program at Samford, I provided the website for their program in the description below this video. And as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode with another dietetic internship. And we'll see you next time. Thank you all so much.